just.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for joining us at the PIES meeting. I'd like, first of all, for the approval of the minutes, please. If I can get a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any noes or abstention? The minutes have been approved. We'd like to welcome today, I believe she's with us, Barbara Lee, who is an appointment for the CHHS Board. Barbara, are you out there?
Are we else hear anything?
I can hear.
Great. You want to go? 1 second. We're having a little check. Councilmember Bingham, can you hear?
I you.
Okay, we can hear you, but you are breaking up.
I think we may need to do what we did last time.
Councilmember Bingham, you may need to just phone in. Be on the web, but phone in to speak.
Sounds good.
One small expense to fix all of this. We just need to.
Okay.
Which is what?
Are they? Okay.
Well,
All right.
aren't we supposed to just say something
Say
like
something,
stop?
say something, say something, say something.
Barbara, thank you as we work through our technical difficulties this afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah. Barbara, would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll may have some questions from council of why you want to be on the CHHS committee.
Okay, I'm Barb Lee. I've been a resident of Spokane since about 1980. Went to school here for nursing and have worked as a nurse in several different facilities here in town.
Go, Councilmember Stratton, what's your question?
What I'm trying to think of a way to word this. What do you think is the biggest issue right now? Did you get that question?
Barbara, did you get the clarity on that question? What is the biggest issue in community health right now?
That you think and
The biggest issue.
just your opinion.
There's so many issues. It's hard to say which is the biggest issue. I guess as far as joining this board, one of my big concerns is the lack of resources that exist out there for people. When I first started in nursing, there were a lot more resources available. And through the decades, I've seen those just dry up so that there just is not a safety net for a lot of people anymore.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Barbara. I will ask, I'm in the mental health field also. And I guess the frustration thing is that, you know, the capacity to provide those services for people who do have those challenges. What do you think, or what role could the city possibly play in aiding to build capacity in the arena of mental health?
Oh, and mental health. One of the obvious things would be if there was some way to encourage, I think, more people to go into that field. It's not a field that you see a lot of people get into because of the working conditions a lot, as well as reimbursement. I think generally we need to be training more nurses. We talk about a lack of nurses, but it is also not easy to get into nursing school. There's usually a waiting list, and has been forever.
Thank you. Any more questions for Barbara? Barbara, thank you very much. Hearing none, I believe we'll go through the approval process on the 11th. You do not need to join us again, but you're more than welcome to. Have a good afternoon.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Great. So we're going on this afternoon to the University District, and we're going to have Julie Cisnera. Julie, are you in the building? Or are you going to join by Zoom?
Yeah, I'm on WebEx.
WebEx, great. Julie, go ahead.
Okay, great. Thank you for having me here today. Hannah Lee, would you like me just to share mine, or did you get the link I sent earlier?
Please share.
Okay, I will go ahead and share. Okay. Let me move this. One second here. Oops. Okay. Well, thank you for having me back again. Lots of updates to give on the University District. Can folks hear me okay?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay, great.
yes,
So,
yes.
so I am now in the permanent position, so that is exciting to actually be able to start working with the board and moving forward on the UD. Just to give you guys some quick updates on the 400 block, this is a big focus for us in 2022. We did work with Avista to secure a couple of properties located along Sprague Avenue. And so one is 15 East Sprague and the other is 12 North Grant. Those properties closed in December, and we have a right of first offer now to purchase 7 parcels, those 2 and an additional 5. Was there a question?
No, just the feedback. Julie, keep going, please.
Okay. Avista is going to begin site cleanup on these, the 415 and the 12 North Grant in the spring, probably within a month or so. We've also hired Century Pacific Consulting. They are going to be supporting us on the financial and legal structure for a public-private development of these parcels. We're going to be beginning, our kickoff meeting is next week, and we've established a UD subcommittee to work with Century Pacific on that. And then Riverside Avenue, I think a lot of you have been keeping up to date on what's happening with that. The UD PDA board did approve underage funds from Sprague Avenue to be used towards redoing sidewalks to the west of Sherman, along in front of Riverside there on the north side. Design has happened on that. The city is leading that design work. We're looking to align the sidewalk with the design that is on the east side of Sherman in front of the Catalyst building. And then the city is going to be issuing a combined bid for both the sidewalk and the road compression work. And it's my understanding that that should be happening shortly. Any questions before I move?
None at this time. None at this time. None at this time. None at this
We've also completed a transit-oriented development study with Jason Graff out of Portland. This kind of built on the work that city planning was also doing with Jason Graff. He looked at 2 potential build-out strategies at the Pine Street Station and the Sherman and Sprague Station. He will be presenting this at our board retreat in May. I'll just kind of click through a few quick slides on this. But really looking at different ways that we can create a better bike ped pedestrian transit connection from the downtown into the WSU campus, moving from Division East, and then also looking at how development around that Pine Street Station can best support people using the public transit system as well. So some of this is kind of suggested build outs along that area and the extension of Main Avenue. He also looked at an activity hub at the South Landing as well, and really focusing on kind of edge to edge retail commercial along Sprague, and then ideally along Sherman, and then potentially in the areas to the south of Sprague, really looking at more of a cluster neighborhood, kind of more dense housing infill, less mixed use, really focusing the mixed use again on Sprague and Sherman. He also made recommendations around open spaces, and then also Pacific Avenue Greenway, which I think most of you know that is moving forward, as far as I know, in the state transportation investment package. I am working with city staff, integrated capital, on the next steps on that. And the UD board did approve $80,000 to go towards design of the Pacific Avenue Greenway to provide a more kind of comprehensive design that includes sidewalk and street trees and things like that. These are some of the other strategies that came out of the TOD study. And we do have a link on our website to this complete study. It's incredibly comprehensive and went into a lot of detail. And as you can see, there's thoughtfulness around the cluster housing, open spaces, protected bikeways, beyond Pacific Avenue, that can really best connect the district to the city. And then moving forward from that, we are updating our UDRA business and development plan this year. The last plan was done in 2017, and it was largely a process plan, which has served the UD well, but it's kind of time to kind of update that and take a fresh look at that. We're going to be kicking off this process at our board retreat on May 4th. As you can see, kind of the three areas at the top have always been priorities for the UD. And then we're going to be also adding these task forces below that really start to look in detail of how the UD can best prioritize capital investments over the next 5 years related to these four areas, and parking and security. We are bringing on community leaders to lead these task forces to support the UD staff in moving this forward in the next 6 months. And we hope to have final kind of recommendations that will inform our 5-year plan in October. And this shows the schedule of how we're working on that. We are moving forward with kind of the task force process and goals right now. Kickoff will be in May. We'll be looking at gap analysis of existing community services and programs in those 5 areas. We'll be studying best practices nationwide, and then prioritizing strategies for the board moving forward. And then finally, I just wanted to kind of mention, this is something I may be reaching out to Council President and a few other council members on this. This has come up quite a bit in some of the larger life sciences discussions in the community beyond the UD. So more, hosted by GSI, involving Evergreen Bioscience and SP3NW and the universities, that we really don't have a comprehensive industry market study for our clusters and where we're competitive and where we are not, compared to markets that are comparable, such as Salt Lake City and others for Spokane. And so there is a request to potentially, we've started talking with the county about this. They are interested in seeing where the city's at, if we could maybe get a 50-50 commitment from both. It would be $150,000 to conduct a really comprehensive study, but this would incredibly help, marketing our clusters, understanding how to prioritize our development dollars and our infrastructure. I'm hearing a lot about we need more wet labs, but there really is no understanding of what wet labs do we have, what type of wet lab do we need. And so, I think there's a variety of ways the region could use this information. So wanted to throw that out there, and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Julie. Any questions for Julie? Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, thanks, Julie. Wondering on the lots that you guys are buying, I'm just kind of curious, how much are you putting into purchasing and developing those, and what's the anticipated ROI?
Great question. And you're kind of reverberating, so I'm sorry I didn't catch all of that. But that is part of the reason we are bringing on Stephen Wood from Century Pacific to really help us understand, do we want to develop this independently? Does it make the most sense to do a public-private partnership? How can we optimize an ROI for the UD and also optimize a catalytic investment for the UD? All of those things are that's our goal for the next 6 months,
And how much overall are you anticipating that you'll put into that?
As far as what the UD brings to the table for the
Yeah.
development?
Yeah.
Again, we don't know exactly yet, but potentially the UD could be providing a full build out of Riverside Avenue. We could be providing the design and build out of the park to the north. We could be offering potential like partial ownership of a parking structure. We could offer like a 10, 15-year lease of parking stalls. Those would all be things we could potentially bring to the table and more, I suppose. But those have discussed.
Great. Any more questions for Julie? Well, first of all, Julie, I'd just like to welcome you back to Spokane. I heard you were quite a force before you left and on your position. Thank you for that overview of the U District. I kind of monitor that whole Pacific Strip in Sherman, and things are really happening down there. So we look forward to what is coming next out of the design stage to the implementation stage. All right. With that, we are going to go on, and we are going to have potential drought response measures for the summer of 2022, brought by Councilor McNair, but we have Kara Odegaard and Jacoby Bird to help present this.
Thank you. Is this on? Hear me? Thank you, Councilmember Wilkerson. Council. It was actually a year ago exactly during this March PIES meeting that the Water Resource Collaboration Group came to present to you about potential drought response measures. If you recall, we had Guy Gregory here explaining the hydrology between the river and the aquifer, and he brought this photograph of the Spokane River at Sandifer Bridge. This is from 2005, but this is what the river looks like at 598 cubic feet per second, which is approximately 250 cubic feet per second below our in-stream flow guidelines that Ecology set. And so today, I'm happy to be here with you to share a little bit more about what we are recommending. And when I say we, the Water Resource Collaboration Group, the City Council tasked with this work 2 years ago, came up with these original recommendations, and we've been working with Councilmember Kinnear to simplify them and bring what we're bringing to you today. Last week, Jerry White came to give a little bit more of the science behind the interaction of the aquifer and the river. As you recall, he mentioned that when we do pump from the aquifer in the summer, it does impact river flows during within the river within the city limits, or where it flows through the city. I just wanted to remind you of 3 key points from that presentation last week. One is that we use 5 to 6 times more water during 3 months of the summer than we do through the rest of the year, just when the river is needing that water the most. And we know for a fact that pumping does impact river flows. That's something that's been discussed and researched quite a bit. And we also know that Spokane residents are in the 97th percentile of water use countrywide. And that means that 97% of the rest of the country uses less water than we do here in Spokane. So after the feedback we received from council, we have put together what we're calling our simplified drought response recommendations. And what those would entail is that we're asking that every summer residents are limiting their daytime watering from the hot hours of the day. The reason we're asking this is when you water during the hottest hours of the day, it doesn't do your landscape any good. That water is evaporating. We're also asking that for an every other day watering schedule, and more education around water conservation, which we have to commend. The water department has done a really amazing job over the last couple years since they've created their master conservation plan. They've put together quite a few water-wise programs, and I'm excited for some new programs that they've got coming this year. The second piece of this drought response measure that we're asking council to consider is what happens when we actually go into a drought, and we're calling this a river drought. A river drought would be anything below 1,000 cubic feet per second from June through October. And if we drop below that threshold, then the suggested measures of limiting our total watering time during the day and limitations on watering hardscape would be mandatory rather than voluntary. Do you have anything you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, I was just going to add that we are really appreciative for that WRCG's work. We went out into the community last year and spread the word about how our pumping impacts the river. We build our system for those peak 3 months of the year. So the idea behind these recommendations is to try to encourage us as a community to kind of shave off that top peak during the summer months by just doing some pretty common strategies, which I believe, Kara, you mentioned that Cheney and Post Falls also do similar.
Yeah, so this wouldn't be a novel thing for our region. So Cheney has already mandated every other day watering, and they ask residents not to water during the hot days, or the hot hours, of the day. As well as Post Falls, who they've implemented daytime watering restrictions as well. So Jacoby mentioned, infrastructure costs is a big reason why we might consider these, but the other reason is to protect our river. We know from countless conversations with the public that everybody in Spokane appreciates the river. Sometimes we all see it for different reasons. People like to recreate on the river, others like to fish, but we all agree that that's an important part of our city. So, in the end, we can choose to do nothing and go forward with voluntary drought measures, which we know from research that they don't work. We can continue to, or we could actually adopt some drought measures and do a slower transition on enforcement, which means we're going to use these first couple years to educate people rather than police them on their water use. Or we can choose to adopt measures and fully fund enforcement through education, conservation, and make summertime staff to go out and watch people, make sure they're following the law. So we suggest the second option here.
Any questions, Councilmember Cathcart?
Yeah, I don't think we have enough time for all the questions I have, but so if we do enforce, who enforces?
Well, we haven't gotten to that because we're not recommending that right now.
But
So-
there's got to be a plan. Like if we're gonna vote,
exactly.
but if we're gonna vote in something that's going to eventually require enforcement, then we need to know now how it's going to be enforced. Is it going to be a reporting system where neighbors are reporting on neighbors? Is that where we're going? That's what I want to get to is how do we do this in a way that, doesn't create a pretty chaotic situation for neighbors?
Right. Flagstaff is kind of our prime example. They've got a water conservation department, essentially, a mini staff that go out there with temp seasonals to go and, kind of like tag people like you would with your recycling bins if you had something wrong in there. Go out and first message what's the behavior we want to see. And we do that like 3 times, kind of have those continual interactions where you're having positive interactions with citizens, providing them the information they need to make better decisions, providing them the tools they need. So that's where we would like to see that kind of enforcement go, is that community messaging. I think it's an important piece to have your neighbors kind of like watching you and saying, hey, we shouldn't be watering during these peak hours of the day. I think having mandatory measures kind of encourages that interaction.
So, but if we're gonna have these temp seasonals going out, I mean, obviously those are new hires that we'll have to pay for. But also, we don't do that with our other code enforcement where we have real chaotic situations now, and we don't have a situation where they just go out and they identify the problems and fix them. It's a reporting system. So why would we do it very unique for this one situation where they would go out and inspect, where we don't do that for all of code enforcement?
I'll just say that I think it's because we have a kind of community habit that we need to start shifting, that it's just okay to kind of run your water all day long during the summer, and that doesn't have impact. So I think in my mind, it would be important to go out there and actively engage people on it, because it's something it's a behavioral shift that we need to start creating, from the
I guess I would
standpoint.
say the same thing about trash in your front yard, right? There's some people who just think that that's okay. It's okay to create blight for the neighborhood, and it's perfectly acceptable. But we haven't changed how we enforce in that situation, but we would in this.
But I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say that with code enforcement, we do. I mean, we can report
But that's it,
blight.
you have to report.
Right.
In this case, they would go out and identify it on their own.
I guess what I'm saying is that with what I saw last summer, I don't know about other council members, but I was getting calls from all over the community saying, even the parks had their sprinklers on too long, neighbors were overwatering. So we were getting a lot of people reporting, just community members reporting on neighbors and that kind of thing. And we had somebody going out. But I guess I'm thinking it's the same process where I get calls on cars that haven't been moved for 6 months and campers and houses that are derelict. And I get those calls, and then I work with code enforcement. They go out, they tag things, and they do the investigation. So I don't know if this is a question of how that reporting is done.
Well,
I don't know, but
and why would we really need to change the model? But because part of what we're saying is the reason people are going out is to educate. And there might be a situation where somebody's sprinkler system is broken.
Right.
So we offer them, hey, we can do an audit of your system so we can find out why all this water is just going down the drain. So this is a little different in that it's an opportunity to educate, at least for the first, and on into perpetuity, really, to educate people about why it's important to not water in the middle of the day, why it's important to water every other day, whatever it is. Whereas it's hard to educate people about, you shouldn't have all that trash in your front yard. They're going, why? It's not quite the same thing. It's not apples to apples.
but
And
we
I think
still
as-
have people go out.
we still have people go
Yeah.
out, but this is more of an opportunity to educate people and convince them that this is the right thing to do and why. So I see it as an opportunity, not as a hand slap.
And last year, every time I called, Marlene Feist was great. If she's here, she was amazing getting information out to the public, that if there was somebody in the neighborhood that reported somebody else, then there was a response. So there was that education going on, but I think we handle them all the same. Yeah, so.
So one follow-up, and you mentioned parks. So would this apply the same to all city facilities, parks, everything?
Yes, so we had a preliminary discussion with Garrett Jones, and we talked about how we need, and this is part of the reason why we are so adamant that this is a transitional process, because parks has considerations with staffing. Some of their properties do not have automatic irrigation, and so they can't water at night.
But should
And
those
so
not
there
be
will
the
be.
Should those not be the same considerations for individuals in the community too?
Yes, yes.
That's why it's education.
I would say, Councilmember Cathcart, though, on that specific example of watering at night, it was a labor issue with being able to have staff out there after, a certain time of day. But I think that, it's a good message to try to get people to be more mindful about when they're watering, and I don't see anything wrong with them going
No,
out at 6
the
or when they get home
education,
from work.
if we're just putting information out there, hey, best practices, but it's different when it's a regulation and the government saying you will do it this way. That's a very different thing in my mind.
And I don't think we're there yet, but
Or not.
My thing was education and really letting people know we do not have an unlimited supply of water. I think that's our perception in our areas, like we got the river, water is always going to be plentiful. We know that's not the case. So how do we continue to educate, and my new word is pilot, so we can pilot something in for 3 years and increase that education that's going on in our community about water conservation. I think if we're going to put our heads in the sand and think it's not happening, then we are doing ourselves and our community a really big disservice not to recognize what's happening. So,
Madam Chair, can
Yes.
I add one thing about parks? And Garrett has been really good about this, saying that they are transitioning. They are, as we know, they're putting in irrigation systems as they can afford them. And they're also converting some of their areas to meadow rather than the cut, English lawn look. And they're also willing to, depending on year to year, there are sections of the golf course that don't need to be emerald green. The greens need to be kept because that's an infrastructure piece, but there are other pieces of a golf course that don't need to be this pristine emerald green, and that's okay. It's not something that people aren't going to go golfing because the golf course doesn't look like, St. Andrews or something. So it's a process. You're absolutely right, and we have to start somewhere. And this is where we're suggesting that we start getting people used to the idea and getting them used to the idea that we are going to continue to have challenges around water. And we cannot continue to build for 3 summer months. That is just too expensive. So, and we all pick up that tab. So we are looking out for taxpayer dollars as well. So thank you both for doing this.
thank you. Any more questions?
I have a quick
Go ahead.
question. Is water rates a future topic, or is that part of this conversation now?
Sorry.
Water rates, is that, yeah. I know we talked about that.
Not a part of this discussion, and in fact, I appreciate all of the feedback, and I'm going to work with
2.9
Kara and
raises that
Mr.
we were
McClatchy here to come back with an ordinance just around mandatory water restrictions during drought. But then that can be a future conversation if you want to have that.
Yeah,
later.
I don't think this is enough, honestly. I think that it's mostly a recommendation and that we need to go a little harder with it because it's a critical resource.
And I remember last year, Marlene did come to us where we were able to see the high users of water in our area, and we had talked about an additional cost to the high users in some neighborhoods to kind of balance that out a little bit. So I'll look forward to the conversation going down that road. Marlene, something else for you to do if you're sitting out there somewhere. So thank you, Kara and Jacoby. Next, we're going to have the transit-oriented development from the Logan and the U District, and that's Spencer and Marin, or just Marin?
Probably just me.
Okay, all right, Marin, take it away. Thank you.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is my first in-person presentation in 2 years, so please be kind to me. All right, so I am Marin Murphy. I'm assistant planner with the city and also the project manager for one of our new projects, the South Logan Transit-Oriented Development Project. And this is just a brief, or an overview shot of the project area with the city line going through it, and then some of the focus stops that we're going to be talking about. So the project is funded by a Commerce grant that we received called the Transit-Oriented Development Implementation Grant. And in 2021, the Washington legislature allocated $2.5 million for cities to facilitate the transit-oriented development areas with high-frequency transit. And from that, or as we jump into sort of the building the community understanding around transit-oriented development, I just wanted to frame how we're talking about in planning. I know you've probably seen some of this already from the TOD framework study that is also occurring, but just wanted to give an overview that transit-oriented development, or TOD for short, provides a mix of supportive land uses, housing, destinations, and services near transit stations with safety and accessibility improvements for biking and walking. And we're also incorporating equity into that framework by integrating strategies around affordable housing and anti-displacement, where all residents can benefit from and are not displaced by redevelopment. So for the South Logan TOD project, we're going to be creating a sub-area plan and a SEPA plan to action to help facilitate TOD that leverages investments in the city line with higher density development. And I'm going to go over the sub-area and the SEPA planned action components in a minute, but I just wanted to show you the overview map. And just to orient you to the project area, we're going to be focusing on 3 stations in the South Logan area, which is in the Logan neighborhood in the University District. And the city line goes up Cincinnati Street and then goes east on Mission. So we're going to be looking generally at the area south of Mission to the river. And you can see on this map, we also have the Hamilton Street corridor that goes up Hamilton Street, and then the Trent and Hamilton Employment Center. And there's generally just a lot going on in this area, number of universities, parks, trails. So when we were looking at the opportunities to really leverage investment and efforts around TOD, this area popped up as a really good opportunity. So of course, the city line is something that's been going on for about a decade, and that is what we're going to be building our process around. The planning timeline, just to go over that, we are building it on a lot of planning that has been done over the last decade around the city line, as well as the Logan neighborhood, with the Spokane Transit Authority working on the city line planning and funding for the first half of the last decade. In 2014, the Logan neighborhood also did a neighborhood plan, and they did a model form-based code along Hamilton Street corridor. And then in 2017, the STA completed a study of the city line that recommended new policies for transit supportive development, which then brought us to 2021, where we've been working on what we call a TOD framework study that provides kind of conceptual scenarios and development concepts around TOD in Spokane. And so now we're going to be transitioning to more of a narrow focus to look at how we can actually implement those and make an actionable sub-area plan, as well as the environmental review to facilitate the TOD development in this South Logan area. So I know as we were kind of trying to get this on the agenda, there was a little bit of confusion about what the scope is and where, and so I just wanted to show you kind of the map and how it narrows down. So from the whole city line route, the TOD framework study looked at a portion of that, and then the South Logan study area is a little bit more specific, centering around these 3 stops in the South Logan area around Gonzaga University. And because we're not starting from scratch, there is a lot of ideas that have been discussed in this area, and from the TOD framework study, this visual is one of them that is looking at the type of transit supportive development that we would be exploring and analyzing in this project. So this is a visual of development concepts based on community input, and the study found that the Athletic Center Station in particular had a lot of potential for infill and redevelopment as a retail and commercial hub, as well as a neighborhood housing district, and knowing that housing is a big focus for the city as well as statewide, and that's one of the focus areas in the Commerce wants to see within this work, is looking at how we can increase housing capacity. So all of that came together as, again, a good opportunity to really explore that in this area. So there's going to be a number of policy objectives that we're going to be looking at in the South Logan project, and I won't go through all of them right now, but these are just some of the things that we touched on in our grant application. So housing capacity, variety of housing types, looking at different development codes. We're going to be doing a market analysis in the area to understand the development potential. looking, of course, at affordable housing and anti-displacement strategies, and then transportation, and we're also going to be looking at the utilities as well, make sure that our utilities are able to handle the development or do the necessary updates so that we can have the development in that area. So there, again, I said that we're going to be developing a sub-area plan and a planned action EIS. So I did just want to take a few moments to kind of define what those are. So a sub-area plan is a type of long-range planning for a limited geographic area, and they help develop an overall framework as well as specific goals and policies. And adoption will likely result in land use changes through an ordinance and kind of lay the groundwork for actually making those changes. So a planned action is something that the city has not actually done yet before. So I did just want to take a few minutes to kind of talk about that. The planned action is a development project where the analysis of the impacts and the mitigation is conducted upfront through an environmental impact statement. So we're still focusing on that geographic area, but it shifts that detailed environmental review to the project level instead of the permit application level. But we're still doing the in-depth environmental review to make sure that we are capturing the whole impacts and mitigation measures that need to be done. So once we have both of those completed, the sub-area plan and the planned action EIS, then City Council will designate by ordinance the types of projects that would be considered planned actions. And then those projects, when a permit application is submitted for those projects, then the city still takes time to review them as whether they're consistent with what's outlined in the planned action ordinance. So there's still additional kind of review at that point, but not the detailed environmental review that would happen at the project level. Yes?
Yeah, Martin, I'm wondering, so it says that this kind of streamlines it. From your perspective, I guess I'd be curious to know how it does that. Because if somebody comes to you and saying, we're going to pursue this project, they're probably approaching the city at the point when they're ready for permits, right? So now we're saying, well, hold on, now you have to do this assessment before you can even apply for those permits. And so does it not extend out the time period for a project to take place?
So the city is actually doing the environmental analysis.
Oh, okay. So this isn't being put on a private developer. This is just by the city.
So yeah, so the city is doing the environmental analysis at this project level. We'll actually define on the map kind of the boundaries of the box. We'll do the environmental analysis in as much of a detailed way to allow the permittee to adopt that analysis within their application at that point in time.
Okay. That's
So
helpful.
it does, again, that detailed review up front.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah. And again, we haven't done this with the city yet. The city of Spokane Valley has done one, but it is kind of new territory for us. So of course, we're building on, again, a lot of the planning processes that have come before with community engagement. So we're going to continue to ensure we have broad engagement through current residents and community members, neighborhood institutions, advocates, investors, partners. We do, of course, have the presence of some larger higher education institutions, so we'll be working with them as well, and then also working closely with STA and agency partners. And when we applied for the grant, STA submitted a letter of support for that, so we've been working alongside them as well. And just a quick look at the timeline. We're just about getting underway, working through an RFQ process to hire a consultant team. And then once we get that finalized, we'll get our community engagement plan and move into existing conditions. Aligning the sub-area plan with the EIS is going to be kind of what we're hoping the consultant will help us with. But ideally, we have the draft of those at the end of this year and then final adoption in June of 2023. And that deadline is to be compliant with the Commerce funding. So the next steps, per our SMC, we're going to have a adoption of a sub-area plan resolution and then the initial public participation plan that will kind of outline the larger scope. And so that'll be coming to you all hopefully in April. And that kind of initiates the process formally. And then, of course, once we get the consultant on board, then we'll get into more of the nitty gritty. So that is the overview. Any other questions?
Well, exciting,
Yeah.
really exciting. And this being our first time, I'll be interested going forward how we identify other neighborhoods. I know this was kind of triggered by STA to get this going, but what that could look like in other neighborhoods in our city as we go forward, Martin. So in this, we're a little early, but I started thinking about how much housing we might have to lose to accommodate, this rapid, the bus route and all that, just thinking forward. We know that's happening in other areas, and that's just a concern of mine.
Yeah, so this area is one of the reasons why this area came to the top is there is some housing in kind of the northern portion of the study area, but you can see on the map there is a lot of the warehouses and not necessarily vacant lots, but maybe the parking lots, underutilized lots. And so this does provide a good opportunity to think about some of those concepts, think about affordable housing, anti-displacement without, like if you jump over to Chief Gary Park, there's a lot more single-family developed areas. So it kind of allows us to explore that and increase capacity without hopefully having some of those issues.
Perfect, perfect. Any other questions for Maureen?
So I just wanted to build on that for a minute because the whole point of transit-oriented development is to increase housing, create density, making sure that people have access to services that walkable or via transit, right? Mm-hmm. So the goal is not to decrease housing, but actually increase housing. Okay.
Right. But we also, that's where that equitable TOD comes in to minimize any displacement from current residents. And there is a few affordable housing buildings within this project area currently, so we would want to make sure that those are maintained as well. So,
Great. Any other questions for Maureen? Thank you, Maureen.
Thank
I just have to
you.
say, Maureen's amazing because she worked on the East Fifth Avenue, so I love her. So this neighborhood, we're really lucky to have you, Maureen. So,
Thank you. Appreciate
alrighty.
it.
Next, we have the 12th Avenue discussion. You're going to lead us off? All right, Inga. And, I thought Inga and Terrell was coming. All right.
All right, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So this is a request from some property owners out on the West Plains who are asking us, or the city, to consider moving the city-county boundary to accommodate a road alignment. And I'll give you more details as we go through it. This is a recent article in the paper just showing the general alignment of the 6th, 10th, 12th Avenue project, which is an arterial route that's going to run through Airway Heights and then through our city limits, and a couple parts of it, it kind of crosses the line into the county. So it's a joint project that is being done in phases to build a parallel route to Highway 2. And the part that we're looking at, I've got a little purple arrow pointing to it, is between Deer Heights and Flint Road. So right now, the city has a set of plans, draft plans, for 12th Avenue that puts the entire roadway on the city's side of the line. This is just to the north of the new North 40 store, if you know where that is out in the West Plains. When they came in for their permit, we did have a request in there that they need to dedicate a certain amount of right-of-way to us, 65 feet. They haven't done it yet, but the latest preliminary design that we did for 12th Avenue shows that we actually need 80 feet, so we need to get a little bit more to make it work. But we had set it up so that it would all be on the city side of the line. The funding for the road is being led by S3R3, and we don't have funding for this part yet, but I expect it would be something they seek within the next 6 years or so. And so we did have a joint agreement, though, with Airway Heights and S3R3 to do an initial study of the alignment, and I'll show you what we came up with here on the next slide. For orientation purposes, I just want to show you, this is the area we're talking about. So this, this line here, the orange line, is the city limits and the UGA boundary. It's Spokane County on the north side. It's City of Spokane on the south side. The new North 40 store is right here. Airway Heights is on the west right-of-way line of Deer Heights Road. So this is the 30% design that we came up with using the joint effort with S3R3. And you can see that as the roadway crosses into the city from Airway Heights, that it's all on the south side of that orange line. And this is the way we've set it up so far. So the property owners have been talking, and the property owner to the south, which is the area kind of outlined in green, would really like the road to be shifted so it's basically half in the county, half in the city. City is not really willing to do that because that creates all kinds of problems to have a road half in each jurisdiction. So what the proposal now is that the property owner to the north would dedicate that right-of-way, and then it would get, through a boundary line adjustment process, it would become part of the city. And I'll go through how that works. So this is what, just to show you what the current alignment looks like, the one that we did the design on already. It has a little jog right here at Deer Heights Road where that roundabout was. It comes down onto the city side of the line, and then it has to jog back up when you get to Flint because the road is on the county side over there. So we have a couple jogs in the road already. If we went with this alignment that's being proposed by the property owners, it's still going to have a couple jogs in it, and it's just going to be in a different place. So we've gone round and round with legal on how this could actually work, how the road could be moved, and narrowed it down to 3 steps. So the first thing is that Spokane County would need to move the UGA boundary to the north by 40 feet, and this is an action that they would have to take independent of us. The next step would be that the Oswald Group, which is the owners of the property, and the Kestel Group, which they're the ones who have been promoting development of it, they would need to dedicate that right-of-way to the county, and then jointly the City of Spokane and Spokane County would need to go through a boundary line adjustment process. This would require a legislative action by both parties. And so that's the reason we're here today. The county wants to know if the city is interested in this before they go and do steps 1 and 2.
So Inga, before you go on, you used the term in benefit in the best interest of the city if it's on our side. I'm missing what is the best interest instead of we just cut it out and give it all to the county. Tell me why is it the best interest for us that we take this on, in your opinion?
So it's going to be a city street carrying traffic that is generated by development on our side of the line. At some point, we're going to hit a threshold out there as we continue to fill in the properties along Highway 2 where they're not going to be able to get a permit unless the parallel route is in place. And that is the first piece of the piece of the parallel route that's going to be missing, basically. 12th Avenue is going to get built before the one on the south side of Highway 2 gets built, just because it's farther along. And so we're going to need that in order to allow development to continue.
Thank you.
So Inga, I hear why it's important that the road gets created, but why does it matter that the city has the ownership of it? I guess that's my question.
I don't think the county is interested in pursuing it.
Okay, so it just won't happen if it's not us.
I think so.
words.
Yeah. Marlene,
So
go
don't
ahead.
forget that 12th to continuing on is already a city street. So it would be very odd to have an Airway Heights section, a county section, and then a city section. It would make much more sense for it to be a continuous city section.
So natural flow of the.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
So just a couple other things I want to point out. Staff review of this, we think that the proposal should be limited just to the 40 feet of right-of-way that's needed and nothing more. The area to the north of that right-of-way would need to remain outside the UGA until the capital facilities analysis is complete. There has been some previous discussion about putting this area into the UGA, and the city sent in comments saying that we need to see a capital facilities analysis before that happens because this is within our water and sewer area. The city, and yeah, we've previously stated this position when we commented on that proposal. So extending water to the north into this property cannot occur until that planning effort takes place. So what I'm trying to say is that we can't be in a position to say, if the property owner gives us the right-of-way, we can't trade water to them in the future, basically.
But is there consideration for exploring that addition into the UGA? Because, I mean, if we're going to put this big investment there, does it not make sense that we would allow development to occur alongside it?
It's already been proposed, and it came through, I think, last year's comp plan amendment process through the county, and at the time, they didn't have the documentation in place to say that the water and sewer facilities were in place to support it.
So it's just a matter of being unknown at this point?
I guess you could say that, yeah, until they produce that report. I don't know.
And so is that report going to go forward then, or the analysis?
So the county pulled that application for the moment. They need to go back and complete the capital facilities planning. Right now, because it's outside the UGA, it's not included in our planning, as you would suspect. Because it's not that it's in like a joint planning area, it's just not in our UGA. And as you know, there's a lot of demands for water out in the West Plains system, as we are working with S3R3, and we are working, of course, with the city of Airway Heights through their contamination issues and other growth potential out there. So it all has to be balanced. And what we have tried not to do is to allow this property to jump the queue, if you will, and get services prior to other things where we've already committed service. So there's a lot of work that has to happen before we would agree to serve this area. And right now, it's not part of the UGA, so it hasn't gotten the same level of scrutiny. So they really do have to come with a robust capital facilities plan for that.
Okay. So, in summary, this is a request coming from the property owners out there. It does not, there's no operational impact to us if we shift the alignment to the north for a little while. It would benefit the property owners to the south on the city side because it would give them just a little bit more room on their property to develop in the future. The boundary line adjustment we think should be limited to the 40 feet of right-of-way only. And there will be no, like Marlene said, no trade-offs that will allow the developer the owners to the north to short circuit the capital facilities analysis. They still need to complete that. And that council action would be required only after those first two steps are completed.
And the property owners on board with everything as it's been laid out?
So that's what we don't know. The county's asked us the question, would you be willing to take over this right-of-way if we completed these steps? Because they don't want to start this process and then have us go, we don't really want to do that. So we're just trying to provide some feedback back to the county to indicate to them if they want to proceed with that, they can. We're sort of agnostic on how that road would develop, either with the jogs further to the east or the full jogs. It's a little bit of a benefit to our property owner within the city limits because they'd get to keep a little bit of their property. But the question is, we're just posing to you is, does it make sense for us to give that kind of feedback to the county? And then it's going to have to go back to the property owners and so forth to determine what happens next.
Gotcha.
So Marlene, are you asking for council action in a legislative session? Or
We're not going to ask for council action. We're just kind of feeling, we just thought it would be just kind of, if everyone seemed to be generally okay with proceeding with allowing them to go forward with those steps, we don't see a problem with accepting the road in the city limits. So if you don't see a huge problem with that, we can provide that feedback to the county.
I see. Thanks.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Any other questions? Again, impact cost to us?
No, I mean, this would be a developer-driven road project. Part of 12th is already scheduled to be upgraded in the Airway Heights area, so that's the first step. They have a TAB grant for that, and this is sort of the next missing piece.
What about future maintenance costs?
Well, of course, there's always future maintenance costs with any road that we accept within the city. That's sort of how we have to plan for the future and how that works. But, ultimately, that would be dedicated to us, and then we incorporate that in our plans.
So do you want feedback now?
Sure, that'd be great.
I would just support Councilmember Cathcart, and I think we're good. Yeah.
It's exploratory.
Keeping in mind that we're not voting.
Look,
We're just nodding.
you're just- Thank you. Thank you. Next, we're going to have Chief Milo, Major McNabb, or Major McNabb, or Johnny Perkins is walking down here too. Give us a police vehicle update, kind of Q&A.
Good afternoon, Chairwoman Wilkerson and members of the council. Thank you very much for giving me a couple minutes. I was going to give a real quick overview of SPD's perspective. I want to start by thanking Major McNabb and Rick Giddings. They put a tremendous amount of work into this project for us. But I also want to thank the council for putting this on an expedited route as well for us to move forward on this. So thank you for that. Just briefly, and again, I don't want to steal any of their thunder. When you look at SPD hiring, including the 20 positions that we were allowed to hire for the levy, over the last 6 years or so, SPD staffing has increased somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 above our allotted numbers as well. Our experts, the fleet, has advised that over 50% of our fleet should be rotated as a best practice. One of the things, too, it's important to remember is that when you're looking at police vehicles and mileage, the mileage of a civilian vehicle versus a police vehicle are night and day difference. Our officers will sit on perimeters, they're on collisions at Francis and Division in 80-degree weather for 2 hours blocking traffic. They'll sit on perimeters in the middle of the night while they're out trying to track someone who fled a scene. So that the mileage that you'll see on these vehicles is significantly different than civilian vehicles. But probably most importantly to me is morale right now. We are seeing a 50% increase in retirements the last 2 years. That's a national trend that we're also seeing here. When I go to roll calls, when I go to in-service, the number one concern of our officers is the condition of our fleet. So before I turn it over, SPD would like to request the 64 hybrid K8s, the purchasing authority to move forward with that. If we get these 64 vehicles in, I'm told we'll be able to rotate over 80 vehicles out of our fleet. And whatever we're not able to purchase, if given that purchasing authority for the 64 vehicles, will allow us to then place the remainder of those vehicles at the top of the list for this fall when they open up purchasing again for 2023. And with that, I will turn it over to Rick Giddings and Major McNabb. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Giddings. I've never seen you in person, I don't think, so.
I know, this is a first.
Exciting times.
So I am Rick Giddings, Fleet, so you can see me in person now. Good afternoon. So I want to start out just by saying Fleet Services continues to be committed to helping the city of Spokane transition to electric or other clean fuel vehicles. I know the police and the administration also share in this goal. From a fleet perspective, it's important for us to understand that the vehicles we select, first and foremost, are tools, mobile offices, break rooms in some cases. The city employees, police officers, firefighters spend many hours a day in and depend upon to provide critical services to our community. For this reason, our first priority is to ensure that these vehicles fully meet the operational needs of the department. According to Washington state law, it's considered practicable to procure electric vehicles when the following criteria are met. A vehicle is available that meets operational needs. Charging requirements can be met using routine or during routine use through fleet management strategies, and life cycle cost is equal to or less than what the vehicle we would have purchased otherwise. So based on our research and testing with guidance from the Department of Commerce and the WSU Clean Energy Program, we have determined that these criteria cannot be met for certain emergency vehicles using electric vehicles currently on the market. At the top of the list, of course, is our police patrol vehicles. Early information from our Tesla Model Y pilot program has shown both operational and charging needs that cannot be met. The most critical ones, and I know we've talked about these quite a bit, front seat, hip, and shoulder room are not sufficient. Officers are wedged in the cars. There's a computer that has to be kind of in the lap of the passenger side officer. Rear seat dimensions are fairly small, so they don't fit there's certain people that the rear seats can't accommodate. Safety barriers are not available for the roof and rear window glass. Rear seat belt cannot be deployed with current commissioning equipment without potential safety risk to the officer. The vehicle cannot be programmed for stealth operation, and average energy usage. So basically, we're running out of energy on a multi-shift operation. The vehicles are not making it to the end of the shift or the second shift in many cases. And then one of the biggest obstacles that we are going to have to look at is Avista Utilities has told us that there's not sufficient electrical capacity to support either DC level 3 fast charging or adequate AC level 2 charging where the vehicles reside. So these results have prompted us to deploy a comparison of all electric vehicles below $65,000 MSRP, as well as some targeted minimum requirements that we can use to make as a reference for making sound purchasing decisions based on quantifiable information. These include vehicles should have charging speed sufficient to replenish the energy used within the dwell time that's available for the car. The range should be sufficient for the vehicle to operate 2 consecutive shifts on a single charge that doesn't exceed 80% at the top end or fall below 20% at the low end. All required commissioning equipment must be available prior to vehicle delivery. Vehicle must be deliverable within 12 months of the order being placed. And then we came up with some minimum interior dimensions based on our knowledge from the Tesla pilot program, usage of past police vehicles, experience of police officers, some measurements that have been done by police personnel. So given what we have learned through this process, Fleet supports police's decision to purchase 64 non-electric police vehicles using the fastest and least expensive means available. This will allow police to begin rebuilding our aging and overused police fleet, have versatile and interchangeable core of vehicles to kind of strengthen the bench for police vehicles. Allows us, as Chief Meidel said, allow us to eliminate over 80 vehicles, thus downsizing the entire fleet using more fuel-efficient vehicles. And we continue to monitor and evaluate new electric vehicles for viability as they become available. We enthusiastically support testing vehicles such as the Lightning and the Mach-E as soon as possible, and support seeking outside consultants to ensure we are operating our police fleet as effectively as possible. It's also a recommendation that any vehicle that is anticipated to meet minimum operational requirements be tested on a small scale for a period of no less than a year before large-scale deployment is considered, and at least 1 month of that testing should be completed prior to vehicle commissioning, so we can make sure that the vehicles are going to do the job before we spend a lot of money on commissioning the vehicles. Yes, sir.
Rick, you just laid out some very specific requirements that you need. So does the Mach-E, based on everything you know, comport with all of those requirements?
No.
Okay, so why would we continue testing it and if we know already that it doesn't work?
Well, so what we're looking for, this list of minimums is a target, and we don't want to leave anything out. We certainly don't want to spend money on something that is not going to do the job. There are certain police jobs that it may do okay for, and so I think our testing on the Mach-E is going to be focused upon admin cars and that sort of thing.
So my understanding of the Mach-E, though, is that the interior is almost identical to the Tesla in terms of width. So you would have the same issues with an officer being very uncomfortable in that front driver's seat. You wouldn't be able to have a passenger, in there. The cage area is going to be small. So I'm curious, why would we waste potentially $500,000 on Mach-E's and 150s if we know already that they're not going to work?
Yeah, well, that is a difficult question, and that's because those are the vehicles that are on the market to test. And so, if we want to move forward with electric vehicles, then we're going to have to see if if we can find a way to make these ones work.
Well, wouldn't it make more sense though to simply, which is what I'm suggesting, that we would pre-order right now a K8 all electric, which we have a high confidence is going to work for us, and then we can be at the front of the line. We'll get it first, and we'll run it through the ringer, and then we can order more of those if they do work. But they're one that we already have familiarity with. We know that they're going to work, and it's going to take, my understanding is, a year, if not a year and a half, to even get one of these Mach-E's if we do order them. And that's right around the time that this all-electric K8 is going to be out. So it just seems like it's a real backwards idea to buy 8 of these all-electric vehicles that we already know do not work.
Councilmember Cathcart, yeah, and I agree. I think a lot of our hopes are hinged upon the future K8 all-electric, and they have announced that vehicle is going to be coming out. not available to order at this point, and so we can't get
But
on
we
the
could pre-authorize that as soon as you're available to, you can execute, right?
Is that an offer? Because we'll take it right
It
now.
is for me. That's what I've suggested in my amendment, so, yeah.
Sure.
I'll let you continue before there's any more questions. Further questions right now? I have a question, just quickly. So if we order all 60, then what is the replacement program? If all 60 come in now and they all have about the same use, then in 5-6 years, we got to replace 60 again? That's not connecting in my brain a little bit.
Yeah, Councilwoman Wilkerson, that's a great question. I think one thing to keep in mind is that we actually need 200 vehicles replaced. This is the first installment in a 10-year plan. Our fleet has gotten further and further behind. That is why today we're advocating for the full order of 64 K8 hybrids to get our fleet in a better shape.
I got one more question, and sorry, Councilman Cathcart.
Nope.
I understand the need, I understand the safety, but in the economic times, and I want our police morale to be up, I don't know if we can fund morale. You know, we can fund safety. I don't know how we can actually put a number on that other than we want them to have safe cars to be able to do their jobs. So I just want to throw it out there. Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, well, I guess I mean, just as clear as day, I mean, what is it that SPD needs right now from the council?
Councilman Cathcart, we're going right off Fleet's replacement plan that was produced to us last June, which says we need 64 cars this year, and I think it's 60-something the year after that, until we can get caught up in a reasonable replacement cycle.
So 64 cars, and so these are really tools that you guys use to help keep our community safe. So of those cars, which car do you guys most need and want?
The most utility we're going to get out of a car right now is out of the K8 hybrid.
So the K8 hybrid is what you would like?
Yes, sir. We know the car. We know how much it costs to commission. We know it works well. There's no testing. There's no custom fabrication that needs to occur. We understand that the need to electrify our fleet. It's something the chief endorses. I heard that it's something the mayor endorses. We're all for that. When a suitable replacement vehicle is available for police work that's all electric, we will buy it.
Can I ask, out of these 64, how many will be for patrol?
So I think Councilman Zappone has really dug into this issue. The fleet is very complex, and there's basically 4 categories of cars.
Right.
We have our rotational fleet, which serves all patrol, about 126 officers in total. And then we have our individually assigned vehicles, which is 198 vehicles. Not all of those vehicles work patrol, but a good portion of them do, because a lot of our officers work collateral duty specialties in addition to their patrol work. So they're on call for SWAT, they're on call for hostage negotiation, they're on call for other things, but when they work their day-to-day shift, they're working patrol, so they need a patrol vehicle that's suitable for that work.
Okay.
Could you, Councilmember President, I think Councilmember Bingle's had his hand up. Is that you out there, Councilmember Bingle?
How can you tell? Oh, I see.
Okay, just wanted to make sure that was, oh,
There he is.
Councilmember Bingle?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Wonderful. Questions here for the main are the idea of vehicles.
We only got every third word, Councilmember. Could you repeat it again, and we'll try to piece it together?
Is SPD open to the idea of electric vehicles?
Absolutely. We are open to the idea of electric vehicles when a suitable electric vehicle model that is designed for police purposes is available for purchase. Also, when suitable and reliable infrastructure is in place.
Okay. And in your opinion, and with the help of WSU, you have determined that that time is not today. Is that correct?
According to the experts' fleets, they have not found a fully electric vehicle that is a suitable replacement.
Okay. In the next 10 years, could you see a portion or a significant portion of our police vehicles being electric vehicles.
I do see that. If the resolution goes through, we're going to have 8 all-electric admin cars. So I think eventually that that the fleet will go to fully electric. I hope that in a couple years, I think Ford has invested $30 billion in putting out fully electric vehicles. And when that occurs, I hope that the K8 is one of them. And when that comes available, we'll buy it.
So would it be fair to say that you're not opposed to electric vehicles as the idea? You just see that today there are significant challenges that would affect public safety. Is that fair to say?
That is fair to say. I have a number of concerns about the reliability of an electric car doing patrol work. This is a high-stakes environment, life and death situations with police work, something we should not be experimenting with.
So, understanding this, purchasing and moving forward with the tools that you are saying that the police are telling us are not going to be most effective for the community today would affect public safety today. Just want to double check on that.
It's a long answer to your question, but I think as short as I can say it is that we are in need of 200 vehicles right now. We're asking to buy 64. If we don't get new vehicles soon, it's going to impact our effectiveness.
And briefly, can you go into the process for the public? Can you just go into the process of the length of time that you've spent on this, the amount of people who've been involved, and the man-hours that have been devoted to determining if electrical vehicle is a viable option at this point?
Can anybody repeat? I didn't hear all of it. I'm sorry.
He was asking you to go through the process for the public's benefit of the research that's gone into all of this for the cars. Is that what you asked, Councilmember Bingo?
Yeah, the amount of time that's been spent researching these vehicles, the experts that have been brought in, the man-hours that have been spent so that the public can understand that this is not a flippant process, but a deep and thorough investigation of electric vehicles.
Yeah, it's been a long and interesting process, I would say. It's been a moving target the entire time, which makes it difficult to give solid answers every day as to what we need and what's available and how we're going to get it. But I can say Director Giddings and I have probably put a couple hundred hours apiece into this project, not to mention our staff, trying to come up with a solution that's going to work, that's going to be in the spirit of the municipal code for clean fuel and the state law.
Is that it, Councilmember Bingo? Who else? Councilmember Kinnear.
Thank you. And I want to acknowledge, because Major McNabb, you and I have worked on this for months. So I've put a lot of quote unquote man hours into this as well. I refer to them as staff hours. However, we, since 2016, have authorized over 200 cars for SPD. And that would be Karen Stratton, Lori Kinnear, Brian Beggs. And so my question is, you're saying you need 200 now. Does that mean the 200 that we've purchased since 2016 are ready for the boneyard, or because we have more staff now that you're going to need more? So what happened to those 200 cars? Are those still good? Are you using them?
Do you want a list of each one? No, I'm kidding. It's I think it's a combination of both. We've added about 50 new positions to the department since 2016, and also the vehicles get worn out quickly. They're driven for 20 hours a day, 21 and change hours a day. That's a hard life for a car. We don't just get rid of them at that point. There's a trickle-down process that happens. They get sent to the training academy and the training fleet, or they go out to the loaner fleet to where they're getting towards the end of their life, maybe pushing 160, 170,000 miles and 12 years old, and that's when they finally get rotated out.
Council President?
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm, about 18 months ago, we bought 52 cars, or we funded 52 cars in 2020, in the middle of 2020.
I don't know the answer to that, Council President. I saw that in an email, and
Because I got a chart from Fleet that said that.
Oh, I haven't seen that chart, Council President.
Okay.
Yeah.
But last year, the administration only asked for about 13 or so cars, I think, and we funded them.
I don't know the answer to that either. I started this process right at the Teslas, so Tesla's on is my knowledge.
So, and also, just wanted to, because I think this question was asked, how many vehicles are in the rotational fleet that need to do the double shifts? Of all the vehicles that we have, how many are active?
42.
42. So 42 need the double shift.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and the rest do not need a double shift.
They don't. But here's something to keep in mind, Council President, is just like fire, our work is unpredictable, right? So if a SWAT officer works his 10-hour and 40-minute shift, he gets held over because staffing's low, so he's now worked 13 hours. He goes home, he plugs in his car to charge it, and lo and behold, his pager goes off, and he's out for another call, and his battery's at 20%.
But in terms of these vehicles that are being driven 20 hours a day, that's
Yes.
42 of the vehicles.
Yes, sir.
And how many in this current proposal, how many of those vehicles are you replacing?
I think it's about 11, but I'd have to check the spreadsheet.
And one of them, I think, said only 33,000 miles on it. Is there a reason is there something wrong with that
There's
one?
absolutely a reason for that.
Okay.
We wreck beyond repair about 3 cars a year. Fault or no fault, we do it. And so we keep those cars in reserve for when that happens, because there's no financial mechanism process to replace a car. We're self-insured. So if the driver, even if it's their fault, doesn't have insurance, we don't have a mechanism to replace the car, so we keep a couple stowed away.
Okay, so there's nothing wrong with that vehicle, but you want it on ready reserve in good condition.
Yeah, because history has told us that we're going to lose 2 to 3 per year.
Okay. But in terms of the ones that are needed right now for the 2 shifts a day, it's 11.
That's correct, for the rotational fleet.
Okay. And you might have covered, I came in late, Rick, and someone might have covered it, but we were looking at putting in an order to the state enterprise fund but that window's closed. So now you're going to be, if you get authorization from this resolution that we proposed, you'll have authority to go look to put cars under contract.
Yeah, we're hoping that we can get in on some existing inventory before it goes away also. We don't know what that's going to look like. There are some cars out there we've heard, so we'll have to see what that looks like. But the biggest thing is, even if we can't get these cars through the existing inventory, we need to be first in line when that order window opens up, and that's anywhere between end of August and October usually. We never know.
Right. And this resolution but the 25 K8s, you don't know even if you could get 25 right now, but you want to be in position in 6 months from now to be able to, if new ones come on.
Yeah, the way the vehicle purchasing market has been, it's turning into kind of a 2-year process, or even more in certain cases. We know that if we order a Lightning, for instance, today, if we get an accepted order, it's going to be 2 years before it shows up. And so all of this is trying to be as preemptive as we can possibly be about purchasing vehicles.
Right. And that's the same for K8s, though, too.
Certainly, right.
Yeah.
And when the K8s...
So it's all of them.
Well, right, and the K8s, but the K8s are there's so much more prevalent out there that there's a lot more existing inventory right now.
Okay, great, thanks.
Councilmember Kinnear?
Mr. Perkins is here. I wondered if you wanted to say a few syllables.
Johnny Perkins, City Administrator. Thank you, Councilmember Kinnear. I just want to first start out, and I want to thank Chief Midle, Major McNabb, and Director Giddings, and all of our police officers. But I want to also thank the council on behalf of the mayor and administration for the council's continued support during this process, particularly for consideration of what's being asked and discussed here. I know there's a resolution on this topic now, and just want to say thank you for the discussion, for the consideration, but also want to say that the mayor does support the department and fleet's request for 64 vehicles for the department, the K8 hybrids. But just really want to thank the council for your continued consideration of this, for your support of our men and women in the police department, as well as ensuring that they have the right equipment and vehicles that they need. The last thing I want to say is this. The mayor and the administration are 110% supportive of moving not just our public safety fleet, but the entire city fleet into electric mode at some point. We're also committed to looking at that infrastructure, Director Giddings mentioned some of those challenges. We want to work through those with Avista and others to make sure that infrastructure is there, it's solid, it's sound, and we can continue to move forward under the right circumstances for the vehicles that we would like to purchase. But the mayor and administration are 110% supportive of moving this direction. I really appreciate you docketing this afternoon for this really important discussion. Thank you.
Are you speaking?
Yeah, okay. I have a couple questions, and thank you for answering my dozens and dozens of questions and hours that we've been learning this process together. A couple things that I just want clarification on: this Ford F-150 Lightning not being available for 2 years. The comparison document says availability is 8 months. So I was wondering if you could clarify that.
Yeah, it says 31 weeks plus, I think, is what the actual document says. And I just checked yesterday through some online sources, more or less. Right now, there are 200,000 or more Lightning orders that have been accepted. Ford has built in somewhere around 15,000 build slots for, I think, 2021, about 50,000 for 2022, and it's ramping up. But I guess the consensus is that an order that even if it's accepted today, it could be 24 months or more before it shows up.
Some just clarifying questions for everyone else if they haven't read our email chains. But have you done a comparison of fleet rotational vehicles in other cities across the state and the country of when they rotate out the rotational fleet?
We haven't, and going on a year here, I don't know what's happened prior to me being here, but to my knowledge, no.
Because in an email you said that it's recommended 36 to 40,000 miles, correct? Is when we would rotate out of the rotational fleet?
Yeah, that was in consultation with my internal fleet manager, and I don't have a comparison study to compare that with.
We did a quick call to Seattle.
Okay.
And Seattle rotates theirs out at 100,000. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
Okay.
I think it's important to look at comparisons across the city and the country. I also, when we're looking at the minimum requirements, the K8 is not the only car that meets all the minimum requirements. Is that correct? Is there another car on there that meets all of the minimum requirements?
Not to my knowledge, not an electric vehicle that meets all the minimum requirements.
Well, I'm looking at it right now, and the F-150 meets all of the minimum requirements.
The F-150 Lightning?
Yep.
Except for making two shifts between 80% charge and 20% charge, and charging infrastructure not being available for it.
Well, on your sheet, you have public charging speed as a minimum requirement, and it meets that minimum requirement.
It does, right. And so what we need is a more robust grid where the vehicles are going to park, or find another place to park them so that we can introduce enough electricity in them in a short enough period of time in order to meet those needs. The other thing that we just found out is that Siemens, the electric charging infrastructure person from Siemens, has told us that continued use of level 3 charging will degrade the battery life by about 50%. So that's something that I hate to bring things out until we vet them, but that's something that we're going to be looking into also.
All right, but we do have other cars that do meet the requirements. And then would 8 electric vehicles pose a potential public safety threat?
No, Councilman, we're going to use those cars as admin cars.
All right, so we need 11 cars for a rotational fleet.
Yeah.
Council's proposing 25, so to meet the need, and 8 electric cars would not pose a threat.
I think that's misrepresenting the issue. A lot of like I said, a lot of those other cars are people with collateral duties where they do work patrol. So if it wasn't for their on-call responsibilities, they would be in the rotational fleet, and our rotational fleet would need to be larger.
Councilmember Cathcart?
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm wondering, so if you need 64, but we only order 25, where does that put us for the next phases of orders?
So that as we go on in time, the cars keep getting older and older. And so the cars that would have been replaced this year are going to need to be replaced next year, plus the cars need to be replaced next year. So it's a...
So if it was going to be a 60-60-60, we're now looking at a 25-90. I mean, what are we looking at for the...
Right. Rick could probably answer that better for me.
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but that seems to be a pretty good representation. The vehicles wear at the exact same rate no matter how many we buy, and with vehicles that are getting various different miles on them, but enough that in order to get caught back up, we're looking at somewhere around 60 vehicles a year for, I think it's the next 5 years or so. And so any vehicles we don't buy now, the vehicles are going to age to the point where we're going to have to buy the equivalent number at either now or later.
And are you planning then these 8, if they go through, and you're using them for admin, but would you still outfit them with the cage and with all the other extras that we need in our police cars?
We don't have any plans to do that with these.
So they would just stay bare bones. So we wouldn't even be testing these. These would just be essentially an electric vehicle that we're buying for just some administrative people to commute in, I mean, basically?
At this point, and this adding the Mach-E's and the Lightnings came about in the last couple of days, but at this point, the recommendation would be to not spend $30,000 to commission a vehicle.
Agreed.
Until we're very sure that it's going to work.
Yeah, because we'd be spending $500,000 on the cars, plus probably another $200,000 or $300,000 to outfit them. Is that probably ballpark-ish?
Well, yeah. So the Mach-E right now, NYPD is ordering their Mach-E's in the only configuration that allows a metal roof. That brings the car price itself to around $70,000. If we add $30,000 for commissioning, another $20,000 or so for lifetime maintenance and fuel, it gets our total cost of ownership to around 95 cents per mile.
Okay.
The K8s are about 83 to 85 cents, depending on the price of fuel.
And so the last question, this is for Major McNabb. Last question for Major that I have. I guess how would you rather see us put to use potentially $500,000 to $800,000 for vehicles? Would it be better put to use buying vehicles that you guys can put out on patrol right away?
Absolutely, sir. If we could just get more K8s on that order, that'd be more beneficial.
Perfect.
I have a comment just to follow up, Councilmember Zapone. So on the replacement list, we have 11 rotational, just to clarify. I did write this down. And then we have 50 single-user vehicles that need to be replaced, but 35 of those work patrol. I think something to think about when we rotate a vehicle, when we say in 36, 40,000 miles, we're not rotating it, we're not auctioning it, we're trickling it off to the next stage, which would be a single-user vehicle or an admin vehicle or a detective vehicle. They're not being sold. So end of life is the same as Seattle, 100,000 miles.
No, we clarify, they're doing rotational fleet, 100,000.
That's what I'm saying is we're not selling our vehicles at 36,000 miles. We're selling them at 100,000, just like Seattle.
Council President.
Going back to your total cost of ownership, Mr. Giddings, were you using equivalent lifetime mileage on that? Because my understanding is that generally the electrics would go, or were you assuming the electrics have another 50,000 miles with that?
According to the SMC, we are to use the longest lifespan of the two vehicles for the comparison. And so because we don't know how long an electric vehicle is going to last in police service, we're estimating that they are going to last a little bit longer. They have less maintenance, and less moving parts. But we don't know what the batteries are, how long the batteries are going to last. And so that's kind of the big weak link when it comes to trying to determine how long a vehicle is going to last that we haven't been able to test in a particular job.
But I guess my thing is if you're doing total cost of ownership, but at 80,000 miles or 100,000, you have to then buy another internal combustion engine one, that's going to really up the per mile cost if you're comparing it to the electric, even if you don't know how far the electric's going to go.
And as I said, according to the rules of the game, that's how we have to do the math on it. And the fact is we don't know. We know that a internal combustion engine vehicle in most cases will make it to 120,000 miles. The maintenance ramps up over time just like it would for anything else. And so when we're comparing two vehicles, we just want to make sure that we're comparing the same amount of miles for both vehicles.
I know, but what I'm wondering is if the internal combustion is going to go 120, we're pretty confident the electric's going to go longer. Maybe we don't know how far. are you factoring in that at 120 you have to buy our new internal combustion, even though the electric is continuing on, when you do your total cost of ownership?
And no, and the reason is because we do not have any idea, there's nothing to support that in the outside world that says that an electric vehicle being used for police work is going to last longer than 120,000 miles. And so we would be delighted to find that out, but nobody can give us a good answer on that. Nobody's used them in a life cycle long enough to determine that yet.
So one of your predecessors before you came told us something different. So that's, anyway, but you've clarified it, which is you're not factoring that in total cost of ownership. So
that's true. Yeah.
And then my second question was, if council simply provides you the authority that you can then buy electric vehicles to test as you want, as admin or whatever, no one's forcing you to do that. Is it more helpful to have the authority available for you than to not have the authority?
It's absolutely more beneficial to have the authority to purchase vehicles without having to go through the month-long process of getting approved.
Okay, because this, unlike the last time we were dealing this, we were in a time crunch. We had to spend the money by a certain time, so we had to say, no, you have to buy this. For this, we don't have to. We can simply say, you've got the ability to buy some diesel Tahoes when they're available, some Ford Lightnings when you can get them, some Mach-E's, just like New York City's doing. You can do it if it works, when the right commissioning, all those kinds of things. And so I'm assuming it's better for you to have that authority than to not have it.
It absolutely is. And the one thing that we ask is that future vehicle purchases don't be predicated on a pilot program being underway, because we just don't know when the vehicles can show up.
Okay. Thanks.
Well, I have to ask, we all know we need police cars. It's the number. So as of Friday, there were some numbers that had came up with for police vehicles that I thought had been in agreement. And then I come in Monday morning and there's a bunch of new numbers of the numbers of cars that came. So I'm a little confused because I thought the numbers that are in the SBO today had been agreed on through the administration and some negotiation processes, and then we're back to the 64. So 48 hours. Somebody just give me the Reader's Digest version of what changed, that we went from this SBO back to the other one so we can move forward. Because that's my challenge. These numbers have been like a moving target. It's like trying to shoot the duck on the wheel, and it just keeps moving. So a little bit of clarity for me. Everybody else probably got it,
No, thank you for asking
but I
that
need
question.
clarity.
Nobody's got it.
Get the confusion.
Not quite sure how to answer that, but I had an SBO sponsored by Councilman Cathcart, Councilman Bingle, for 64 K8 hybrids, and that was submitted into OnBase Wednesday of last week. This resolution I learned about on Friday, and we had to take a few days to absorb what was being proposed, to understand what was fully going on. And our position is to still stay with Fleet's recommendation, which is for 68 K8 hybrids.
So there was no agreement then on Friday that you were just looking at the new information you got? You were still, you hadn't agreed on what we thought
Right.
there was an agreement on the 35 vehicles?
Not from the police department, no.
Okay, so we have a
aware of
disconnect
anything
here,
on
Councilmember
35.
Wilkerson.
We do.
With what I talked to Mr. Perkins about on Friday, and the police department apparently, I'm assuming you guys talk, so.
We do talk.
Yeah.
Mr. Perkins, do you want to address this?
I was in a meeting middle of the week last week, and I don't recall 35 ever being the number, so I don't know where that came from.
Thank you, Major. So there was a discussion about this topic in the numbers. It was always our position from day one that we wanted the 64 vehicles. There was discussion early on about electric, which ones were working, which one wasn't, the Teslas, and I don't want to go through all the history. You all know better than I do. The position of the administration is the police department needs 64 vehicles. We felt the best route was the K8 hybrids. Understanding there's competing demands on funding in the city at this time, we felt that we can get a portion of those vehicles, that would be much better than not getting anything. And so sometimes you have to look at what's better for the good and not just what's best for the whole. And so we decided in some conversations that we would look at something a little bit lower. The numbers that were brought forward on Friday were a little bit lower than the administration was comfortable working with. So in a conversation with Fleet and the Spokane Police Department, we came to the conclusion, let's propose 35. That was in an email that I sent today, which would allow for discussion about a number of electric vehicles that we would use to test them under appropriate scenarios to see if they worked. The goal here is we would like the council today to consider giving us purchasing authority, us being Fleet, the administration, and the police department, purchasing authority for a number of K8 hybrids. Would we like all 64? Absolutely. But if this discussion is going on, the policy gets made, and we're able to get 30, 32, 35, we need to place the order because the window's closed, as the council president has indicated and Mr. Giddings has articulated and confirmed. So right now, we got a lot of work to do to find those vehicles. But if we don't have purchasing authority to do it, we're going to be sitting here another 6 months without the ability to get these vehicles. So our request, respectfully, is to have you please consider purchasing of K8 hybrids. Whatever that number is, we realize it's not going to be 64. We understand that. That's what we would need. We would want that. Could we adjust to 30, 32, 35? Yes, we could. But we've got to make the decision today on what we're moving forward. And if that includes a couple of electrics that we need to test, as Major and Director Giddings have suggested, we could use those for ministerial. If they certainly didn't work for patrol, we would do that. The mayor and the administration are committed to converting our fleet to electric vehicles, but we want to do it the right way. But we need to start this process to get our vehicles replaced, because today, if we don't purchase these K8 hybrids, or again, giving us the purchasing authority, we're going to fall farther and farther behind. And as Mr. Giddings mentioned, we need authority to be first on the list when that next door opens up again. Thank you.
So does that mean the administration would be okay if today we approve the purchase of 35 vehicles that we talked about, like we discussed on Friday?
Well, 35 meaning 35 K8 hybrids. And if there was a couple of the Mach-E's and or Ford F-150 Lightning, we don't have any problem with that discussion and consideration.
But I'm hearing police say they need the 64.
We do need the 64, but in an effort to get some discussion, I mean, if you all want to approve purchasing authority for 64, we will most humbly and graciously accept that without question. But as we look at for competing resources in the city and for what competing fundings are for different other programs, we realize there may need to be some middle ground reached in order to get to the purchase of some of the vehicles our police department definitely needs. In a few months, after we do some of this testing, we may be back to have a further conversation about the additional vehicles we want to purchase, to see if we can get some consensus on that. But we would be very pleased with the council's consideration of 35 K8 hybrids and a couple of other electrics, a Mach-E and a 150 mix.
I'm going to go to Councilmember Bingle, if you'd like to speak up, sir.
I had a comment to get that came back, a long time ago, and I guess to Johnny Perkins' point there, City Administrator Perkins' point there is, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, and so, if we're going to get 0 or 35 and we're asking for 64, I guess obviously we'll take 35, but that doesn't mean that we're meeting the police department's needs. And as Mr. Giddings was describing the challenges with EVs and being able to determine their lifespan and their cost per mile, it felt as if they were trying to give a genuine and honest effort to account for maybe an extended life, but there are just a lot of unknowns, and that's why it seems pretty reasonable that Fleet would recommend testing out a hybrid or two until we did understand the unknowns. We don't have the budget that New York does. We don't have the budget that Seattle does. We have a very limited budget, and with a limited budget, I know many of us in the city council have lived on a very limited budget before. And on a limited budget, you don't want to guess. You want to be sure that the dollars that you're spending are going to accomplish that which they were set out to do. And so purchasing electric vehicles when we're not exactly sure how well they're going to do seems to be a bit foolish in my estimation, even if well-intentioned. You can be well-intentioned and foolish, and I think that we're teetering on that precipice right now.
I would say that, thank you, John, City Administrator Perkins. There are competing interests for this money, and we are on a limited budget. I want to keep that in. There are other needs in our cities. I know the conversation has been, after these are placed, council has discussed coming back in 6 months to see what the market is able to provide. So we get it, but there are other things also. Our officers are important, but we have citizens too that are important also that they're trying to protect. I'm going to go to Councilmember Kinnear, and then Cathcart, and back to City Administrator, and then we're going to wrap up this discussion because we have our 3:30 briefing.
Yeah, thanks. And so you kind of stole some of my thunder about, we're going to revisit this. If you look at the resolution, we revisit this in 6 months, and we have other things that are going to happen within that 6 months period of time. So part of it would be hopefully to evaluate the electric. But the other piece is, just because electric isn't going to work for patrol, it doesn't mean it wouldn't work for admin or other uses. So it's not wasting taxpayer money. It's evaluating a car based on other uses and or possibly patrol. And by the time you get it, you don't know what you're going to get. You may get an enhanced version of an electric model because technology is changing rapidly. So you could order something now, something else could manifest itself, and you could say, hey, okay, let's try that, because we're not limiting you to a certain type or model or anything else. We're just saying explore other options, and they can be used for other things other than patrol. So we're not locking you into anything, and we are in the resolution saying in 6 months we're going to come back and evaluate, and more often, I am thinking in 6 months we're going to say, let's authorize more cars. It's just that we're not doing it all at once.
Just one point to that, Councilwoman Kinnear. My understanding is the resolution does list specific models that we're supposed to buy.
That's right.
Did we put
It just versions of it.
Yeah.
Versions.
But again, it does not mandate you purchasing anything. It gives you the authority. Fleet asked us in their recommendation, we want to do small deployments. That was the request that we got from Fleet.
Sure.
And there's an actual specific for this request for these vehicles. We didn't make up these numbers. These numbers were in the proposal. So we said, okay, you want that authority, let's give it to them, and then you don't have to come back to us and like, which model that. So it is there, and I do want to make the point that we put in specifically, let's come back in 6 months. Hopefully we'll get some consultant information about what other cities and other departments are doing, and also our take-home vehicle policy, which racks up a lot of miles that's putting on life or taking away life from our vehicles. So we're trying to handle all these things, plus the fire pumper trucks, and get them going. So we're trying to do all of it and keep our options open for 6 months from now. My sense, and no one's told me differently than this, that 25 vehicles in the next 6 months, we are not going, even if we just gave you that, you're not going to have those show up in the next 6 months. But you can start getting them commissioned as they show in, and then we'll be in a position to better evaluate with more information. And again, all these conversations and all these hours that we've all used have been super helpful. I think we're all way more clear on it, and in 6 months we'll be clear. So that's what my pitch is, not to be an all or nothing kind of thing. And as Administrator Perkins says, if we start getting these now, they can start going in, and especially for those 11 rotational vehicles. That's the priority. That you've got us totally convinced on those of like, okay, let's go on those plus more for some of that excess. So that's the thinking behind it.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate that the 11 rotational vehicles are very important, but so are the other 35 take-home vehicles that are used on a patrol basis. They are just as important as those rotational vehicles.
Well, I know they're important. They are not getting used every day, 20 hours. They have to have the ability to be used. But again, we're not putting electric into, we're not changing those into electric.
Understood.
It's just that they're not getting beaten as much, they're not having as much mileage, so they can last a little longer. So
Agreed.
it's not the electric changeout, it's what's getting used the most, which is those
Thank you
11.
for that clarification.
Okay, Councilmember Cathcart and City Administrator, I'll let you have the last word, then this meeting will be adjourned.
So, yeah, I'm just thinking back to December of 2020 when when the council approved the Teslas. I mean, and I know there was a lot of kind of discussion around that since then over, who preferred the Teslas. Was it council? Was it SPD? I don't know. But in this case, we are very much prescribing very specifically the cars you're going to buy. And if they don't work, that's on us. I mean, we are the ones telling you to buy these cars. So it's on us. So why not, to me, I mean, I'll just ask you guys, would it be better if, since this council president pointed out, we're not mandating that you go buy them, we're not mandating that you spend the money, we're just simply saying you can. So why not open it up to any all-electric vehicle and give you guys the ability to maneuver on your own? Why do we need to mandate specific models for you to buy?
Can I respond to that just quickly? Just so you know, the reason we did those specifics was that was the proposal that we got from the administration. So that's why. So if you want to change it to this many vehicles, that's fine with me. But that is the proposal they made to us. We did not come up with that.
Because I just think about 2 years for a Lightning, a year and a half for the Mach-E. We're going to be running right up against when that K8 all-electric comes out, and that is probably going to actually work. And so I would much rather spend a little bit of money on that and make sure it works than to spend money on a bunch of models that we just have no idea. And frankly, I would just say, if these companies really want municipalities testing out their cars, they should just come and bring us one outfitted with the police equipment in it, and we gladly let our officers spend some time driving it around and report back. So I think that would be the better way to test vehicles. But
Get in on those free cars.
City Administrator Johnny Perkins, take us home.
Thank you, Councilmember Wilkerson. 30 seconds or less. Council, thank you so much for the consideration. As I mentioned earlier, thank you for support of the men and women of the Spokane Police Department. As Council President Begg said, flexibility is really important, and this will potentially give us that flexibility that we're looking for. Number 2, purchase authority, critical to getting this purchase moving forward. Finally, this, Councilmember Kinnear had a great idea this morning, and we're going to follow up on it, and it's this. We've got a lot of manufacturers in the car business in this country that are thirsty and hungry to be #1 in electric vehicles for police patrol vehicles. Let's put them to the test. Let's go to a few of them and say, hey, we'll test your vehicle, but you're going to do it on your dime, not ours. I don't know. They may tell me to pound sand. I don't know. But I'm a pretty good negotiator. I'd like to give it a shot. So that is one of the options that we will take forward. We will go to some of these manufacturers and we'd say, put your money where your mouth is. If you're the best, come to the best city and we'll see what you got. Thank you.
And don't just make it for police. If we're going
I
to do free
understand. It's for the
cars,
entire
let's
fleet.
just,
That is correct.
yeah, free cars for everybody.
I'd like a free car.
Thank you, everyone. This meeting is adjourned. Our next meeting will be April 25th, 1:15, and please join us back at 3:30 for our legislative session.